For years, the SnyderVerse was thought to be gone, buried under studio politics, new reboots, and endless corporate changes. But suddenly, in October 2025, the entire DC landscape is trembling again. It's not just another rumor cycle. There are real tremors this time, real whispers from behind closed doors. And every fan who once believed in Zack Snyder's vision is feeling that spark again. Because maybe, just maybe, the SnyderVerse is finding a way to rise. Let's start with the storm brewing inside Warner Bros. Discovery. The company has publicly confirmed it's exploring something they call strategic alternatives. That's business speak for we might sell. And when a giant like WBD puts itself on the market, everything it owns, from DC Comics to the studio's film rights, becomes part of the conversation. Suddenly, buyers like Paramount, Comcast, and yes, even Netflix are in the mix. And that last name? That's the one that's setting the internet on fire. Because Netflix already has a long-standing partnership with Zack Snyder. They trust him. They've let him build his own cinematic universe with Rebel Moon and Army of the Dead. So if Netflix somehow ends up owning or licensing DC content, they wouldn't need to guess where to start. They'd already have their man. And right in the middle of this chaos, Zack Snyder himself starts dropping hints. Out of nowhere, he posts a moody black and white image of Ben Affleck in the Batsuit, calling it one of my favorites. A few days later, another upload, Henry Cavill Superman, captioned simply, Henry Cavill is Superman. To outsiders, those are harmless tributes. But to SnyderVerse fans? Those are fireworks. These aren't coincidences. Zack knows exactly what those images mean to the people who fought for his cut. He's lighting the signal again. Then, things get even wilder. Joe Manganiello, Snyder's Deathstroke, suddenly boosts the old hashtag #SellWBTO Netflix. That one move reignites a movement that was quietly simmering for months. And before long, the Snyder fandom is back at full power. Trending hashtags, new edits, and theories everywhere. Fans connect it all. Snyder's posts, Netflix's silence, and Warner Bros. Trying to find a buyer. It feels like something big is about to happen. Meanwhile, James Gunn's DC Universe, the one meant to replace the old DCU, is caught in limbo. With Warner Bros. Considering a sale, several upcoming DC projects are reportedly on pause. Even Gunn himself is uncertain about his future if a new owner steps in. And when the present looks unstable, the past starts to look powerful again. Remember, when Zack Snyder's Justice League released on HBO Max, it became one of the most watched events in the platform's history. The message was clear. The fans still care. The story wasn't done. The myth still matters. And that brings us to now, where art, business, and fandom collide. Let's talk about the practical side for a second. Snyder doesn't own the DC characters, Warner Bros. Does. He can't just continue the SnyderVerse on his own. But if Warner Bros. Gets bought, the new owner could absolutely decide to resurrect his continuity, or even license it out to Netflix the same way Marvel licensed Spider-Man to Sony. It's not impossible. In fact, in this new streaming-driven era, it's smart business. Because Snyder's brand is proven. It's got loyalty. And that's something most franchises would kill for. Think about it, Snyder already had a 5-part plan. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League Part 1 and 2, and then the grand finale, the war against Darkseid. He built the bones of a saga that was never finished. Imagine the announcement. Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2, exclusively on Netflix. Cavill returning. Affleck closing his arc, Gal Gadot wielding the sword one last time. It's poetic. It's unfinished history begging to be completed. And fans know it. That's why the movement never truly died. It just went quiet, waiting for the right moment. Hashtag restore the SnyderVerse, hashtag SellWBTO Netflix, hashtag bring back Cavill. All those tags are trending again because the possibility doesn't feel impossible anymore. If Netflix or any new owner decides to give Zack the keys again, they wouldn't just be reviving a movie, they'd be reigniting a cultural phenomenon. Of course, none of this is official yet. There's no contract, no press release, no green light. But the ingredients are all there: corporate instability, a proven director who's hinting online, and a fan base that refuses to fade. That's the recipe for a miracle comeback. Snyder might be playing the long game, watching, waiting, testing the waters, and the numbers online are showing him that people are still here, still loyal, still ready. So here we are in the fall of 2025. Warner Bros. Discovery stands at the edge of change. Netflix watches closely. The DC universe is uncertain. And the SnyderVerse, that long-buried myth, hums softly beneath it all, alive again in the hearts of millions. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it's strategy. Or maybe it's destiny, unfolding exactly as Snyder once envisioned. Slow, painful, and inevitable. Because movements like this don't die. They just rest, waiting for the right time to return. And this time, the world feels ready. The fans are ready. Maybe. Even the studios are ready. The SnyderVerse isn't dead. It's just waiting for the dawn.